Hello, welcome back. Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger.
The time is now 8 p.m.
Yes, and it is 8 p.m., so I better hurry up because I haven't had dinner yet. So the date is July 21st, 2022. Now today is a rather special day, and if you look up on what's special about today, you're going to find a lot of silly stuff, like Junk Food Day, National Bring an Alien to Your House Day, National Bring a Monkey to Work Day. A lot of crazy, crazy stuff like that today. But all of that pales comparing to the one serious thing that actually happened on July 21st, 1944. Today, July 21st, is Guam Liberation Day. And this is big, right? I mean, for a lot of us, maybe you have never heard of Guam Liberation Day. Heck, maybe you have never even heard of the island of Guam. But Guam is uh, a territory of the United States in the Asia Pacific area. It's actually a lot closer to Taiwan than anywhere near the U.S. But it became a territory of the United States in 1898. Um, Guam is also where the American daylight first began, so it is the closest to the equator of all American properties, and it's a beautiful, beautiful island. I've never been there myself, but my parents actually went there quite a few times, played golf there, went to golf tournament there. Beautiful area. My mother is a very picky person, but even she said Guam is one of the uh, she would put it as one of the top five most beautiful places in the world. However, she said it is really, really, really hot. Like by 8 o'clock in the morning, you don't even want to step outside. That's how hot it is over there. Now, I have a definite personal connection to the island of Guam because, in case those of you who don't know, my beautiful, intelligent girlfriend, Kitten, uh, is a native of Guam, and her entire family is from Guam, the Chamorro people. And ever since we started seeing each other, I've learned so much about the culture, tradition, and people of Guam. I'll be honest. Prior to meeting Kitten, I've never even heard of Guam. So it's quite a bit of a culture shock for me to learn that there's a beautiful island so close to my native island home of Taiwan that I never even heard of. And it's actually considered American territory. Now, what is Guam Liberation Day about? Now, let me give you guys a quick rundown, although you can read this in detail. You can really read up on this. Just do a quick Google search on Guam Liberation Day. So I'm going to keep the history lesson short. In 1941, shortly after they attacked Pearl Harbor, those Japanese bastards, sorry guys if you're Japanese or if you like Japanese culture and stuff like that, but Japanese people did a lot of really horrible things during the Second World War to my people and to the Chamorro people on Guam. So, anyway, shortly after they attacked Pearl Harbor, they decided, okay, let's go and attack the Marianas Islands, which, by the way, Guam is the largest of the Marianas Islands. And so, in December 1941, without any premonition or warning, Japanese people attacked Guam and took it over. Like this was completely uh, uncalled for. I mean, the Chamorro people, the island of Guam, was not in any shape or form involved in the conflict going on in Asia. They uh, island of Guam has always been a very peaceful, very not warlike culture. And so there was no reason whatsoever other than, oh, it's there and we want to take it for Japanese people to do that and suddenly started attacking and killing a lot of people and enslaving the local population. At the time, the United States had a very small garrison on Guam because, like I said, Guam never was involved in any conflict, any combat. So there was no need to keep a lot of military might on Guam. It's a peaceful island, so no one expected the Japanese people to suddenly attack. So even though the United States soldiers defended the island bravely, they were quickly overwhelmed and a lot of them were killed. The island then came under Japanese rule for 3 long, brutal years, and finally, by July 21st, 1944, about 59,000, yes, you heard me right, 59,000 United States military personnel landed on the island and started kicking Japanese butt left, right, and center. I mean, just saying that is very satisfying. Can you even imagine on a small island like Guam, 59,000 troops land on there and just yeah, basically kicked Japanese people off the island, decimated the uh, conquering, invading force, and reclaimed and liberated Guam. Now this massive force was primarily fronted by the U.S. Marine. There were two regiments, there were two divisions of the Marine that led most of the attack, and over 1,000 Marine died bravely trying to liberate Guam. A year later, in 1945, just when people thought that all the fighting were over and Guam was safe and stuff like that, 3 United States Marines were ambushed and killed by Japanese soldiers that were left on the island. So it is in the spirit of Guam Liberation Day and all those brave Marines that sacrificed themselves and liberated the people of Guam that we are going to look at a superhero today that was, prior to becoming a superhero, already a superhero because he was part of the U.S. Marine Corps in his civilian identity. And no, I'm not talking about the Punisher. His name is John Stewart, also known by his superhero name, the Green Lantern. John Stewart had the very distinguished honor of being the second ever African American superhero created by DC Comics way back when. He grew up in poverty and crime in Detroit, but his mother brought him up right and taught him that if he kept himself on the straight and narrow and really put himself out there, he could help others and help himself and walk out of that poverty lifestyle. After graduating from school, John Stewart decided to join the United States Marine Corps and serve with honor in the Middle East after uh, a tour, and then he shipped back to the U.S. That was about the time when there was a giant storm, and in the comic book history, a giant storm that uh, decimated Gotham City. If that sounds familiar, that's where Batman lives. So uh, John and his Marine Corps uh, colleague or teammate went to Gotham City to try to help save people. And while he was there, John got into a bit of a disagreement with his superior officer because apparently John's superior officer in the Marine was a bit of an a-hole, and the superior officer didn't give a damn about saving civilian lives. And John couldn't have any of that, so he lost control of himself and, well, he punched out his superior officer. Because of that, John Stewart was court-martialed, but because of his exemplary service in the Marine, they honorably discharged him. After being discharged, John went back to school and studied architect and became a very famous builder and designer. What John didn't know was ever since he was very young, ever since his early age, he has been secretly watched by a race of aliens. Well, not really a race of aliens, it's a group of aliens. Yeah, that just kind of sounds really creepy, right? I mean, can you imagine he was little, just a little kid, and these aliens were like, "Oh, this kid looks like he has potential. Let's pay attention to him, see what he's going to do in his life." Yeah, this group of aliens, they are the Green Lantern Corps. And for those of you who are not very up to date on your DC comic book history, the Green Lantern Corps is basically space policemen. They're law enforce they are a law enforcement agency comprised of many, many aliens from many different cultures. And these guys are armed with a magic ring. Imagine the ring or the lantern you see in Aladdin, uh, the lantern that can grant three wishes. But in this case, the each alien, each Green Lantern, that's what they're called, each Green Lantern member is armed with a lantern and a ring that will allow them to tap into the magic of that lantern. And they don't have any limit. The only limit is their willpower. The only limit is their imagination, which means Green Lanterns are immensely powerful. As long as they have strong will, as long as they have good imagination, they can do pretty much darn near anything they want. They can create things out of thin air, and they can make things happen. They can fly, they can create force field to protect themselves, they can uh, teleport people, translocate people and themselves from places to places. They can do all kind of magical stuff because of the power in their ring and their lantern. And these aliens, the Green Lantern Corps, the Green Lantern members, they are spread out through the galaxy. Each sector, and that's a cat knocking into the camera, each sector of the universe is guarded by one Green Lantern. And, well, long story short, the Green Lantern Corps was looking for someone to take over guarding uh, Earth. And they saw a lot of potential in John Stewart, even when he was young. So they've been keeping an eye on him. And one day, at John's work, these Green Lantern Corps people, they finally said, okay, we think that he's ready, but let's see if he's really ready. Let's send a killer alien called a Manhunter down to threaten his co-workers and see what he's going to do. So they did. They sent a Manhunter alien down to Earth to uh, harass and menace and terrify and terrorize John's co-workers and nearby civilians. And just like the hero he was, John, even though he had no superpower at that point, he had his marine training, but that's it. He's normal human being, put himself in danger to save people, and went one on one against this killer alien thing that just came out of nowhere. So, in other words, he passed the test with flying color, and the Green Lantern Corps awarded him with his own Green Lantern ring. So he became the Green Lantern that would protect Earth. Whew! That was a little bit of a mouthful to go through with John Stewart's history, becoming a Green Lantern. So anyway, after he received the ring, he went on to become a superhero and joined forces with the Justice League, with Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and all those guys. And uh, because now he's basically the guardian of this part of the universe. So John Stewart was instrumental in many, many big galactic level battles. I mean, Batman was good for handling criminals, and Superman was good for handling mad scientists and aliens. Wonder Woman was good for handling demons and monsters, but Green Lantern, in his own way, was even a league above them because, like I said, as long as he has his willpower, he can make anything happen almost. Uh, and so he's the guy that would handle universal galactic level threats. Like if the god, like he had to fight the evil gods and like outer space alien warlords that try to destroy the world. Like almost everything he had to battle with on a world-ending Armageddon scale of multitudes. So yeah, Green Lantern pretty badass. Now, I myself have never been a fan of the Green Lantern. I will say that because the almost unlimited power and with his willpower he can make anything happen. That's just a little bit too much of a blank check for me. When I like a superhero, I like that superhero to have limits. I like that superhero to have weaknesses. I like my superhero to have a defined set of powers. I don't like characters that basically, if the writer feel like it, they can make them do anything they want. I don't like that kind of open-ended design for characters. But with that said, Green Lantern is pretty cool, and we have John Stewart himself here. We're looking at today, and as we can see, he is very generic superhero design, mostly green outfit, green and black, with a lantern logo in the middle of his chest and the ring on his right hand. This figure was created by Todd McFarlane, and I actually only acquired this one not too long ago on a 50% sale going on McFarlane website. I have two versions of this character, and honestly, I really didn't want this version, second one. Uh, but I got him because I needed him to complete a bonus figure. Uh, Todd McFarlane and many other companies been doing this where every figure come with a piece of a bonus figure, and if you want the bonus figure, you got to buy everybody. Now, in this case, he won. Okay, McFarlane, you won. You forced me to buy a Green Lantern that I didn't want uh, because I wanted to have the bonus figure. With that said, John Stewart is not a bad figure. The only reason I didn't want him is because I already have a different version of him. And that version is, to me, much more interesting than this one. This one, he's in his more ordinary Green Lantern outfit with his, I guess that's a crew cut marine hairstyle, his very stern uh, uh, visage, and not much else going on with him. Like most of Todd McFarlane's current action figures, this figure is very well built. A lot of articulation, a lot of joints, and he can cross his arm over his chest and move his head left and right. His legs can move, waist can twist. He can get into a lot of crazy poses. However, Green Lantern has never been really like what you would call a acrobatic kind of character. He's not like Spider-Man. He mostly just creates things out of empty air using his Green Lantern power, and then hit people with those things. That's basically mostly what he does. Uh, however, it sounds like I'm putting this guy down, but I will say this particular version of John Stewart as Green Lantern had a really badass moment in the Endless Winter storyline. Now, you see, most people don't really know what the Endless Winter storyline was. Long story short, the Endless Winter involved this ancient, magical frost giant warlord that lived for thousands of years. And now this warlord, called the Frost King, is free to roam the world, and he wants to use his magic to cover the entire world in ice and bring in the next ice age. And the Justice League, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and of course the Green Lantern have to stop him. And in that book, in that story, Green Lantern was totally badass. I mean, the Frost King is so powerful that the entire Justice League together had a hard time fighting him. But for a short time, John Stewart, being the hero, uh, fought him one on one. Like he went one on one against the Frost King and survived to tell the tale. And to prepare himself for that combat, for that fight, he conjured himself up a very cool pair of Green Lantern sword, so he could go all medieval fantasy against the Frost King, which is really fitting because the Frost King is, like I said, the thousands of years old, kind of a medieval fantasy kind of villain. So I guess Green Lantern decided to meet him on his own ground and went in there with a sword fight mentality. Now, as much as I didn't want this figure, the swords are pretty cool. They're green, of course. Everything that he creates with his Green Lantern power is green and translucent. They look kind of like to me, they seem like the sword Leonardo, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle uses. Like they're almost like a cross between modern combat tactical machete and katana swords, and they have their blade a single edge like katana, but they have like hand guard to protect his hand. Pretty cool actually, and the texture on these swords are pretty cool because the edges are actually serrated, almost like you can use them as letter opener. So it's a little bit too bad that he didn't come with the battle axe because in the comic book when he almost defeated the Frost King. He used a battle axe, a green battle axe he conjured with his Green Lantern power. So it would be nice if we get that battle axe to go with this particular figure. But yeah, other than the sword, this figure is a little bit boring. He just looked like your generic superhero uh, in green, and that's basically it. However, like I said, I have another version of this badass former Marine who is now a superhero and the guardian of this part of the universe, and I will show you guys that version right now. I guess once a Marine, always a Marine. So when things get tough, John Stewart kind of revert back to his marine uh, mentality. So what he does is he conjure himself up a green suit of armor to protect his body and a green backpack. I don't know what's supposed to be in there, and a giant green machine gun. So even though he's using like Green Lantern magic, he still dresses and outfit himself like a Marine. So this version is one I had prior, and I don't know if you guys can tell. It's basically the base body of the other one with additional green body armor, a green backpack, and green machine gun added to it. So this version, to me, is definitely a lot cooler than the other one. This look more like how I imagine a former U.S. Marine would dress as a superhero. Here's a quick side-by-side comparison of the two. And like I said, one is basically uh, John Stewart in his basic outfit, and the other one is him conjuring up his old U.S. Marine gear or a version of it so he can use it to fight some unknown alien. Um, Neither of these figures bad in any way, but because they're so similar, uh, I feel that it's a little bit uh, of a. Uh, I feel a little bit bad that I was cajoled or forced into uh, getting the second one. If like honestly, if I knew that McFarlane was going to do this, including almost an identical John Stewart in the uh, Endless Winter toy line or wave, I wouldn't have gotten the other one. I would have just waited. But I think honestly, as toy makers, they always try to get the most out of a mold or a design. So from an economic business point of view, I understand why he did what he did. But yeah, it's just a little bit hard to swallow. Having been kind of cornered into uh, buying an extra Green Lantern. But anyway, my personal feeling aside, it's a fantastically made figure, very durable, very well articulated. Come with great accessory, either the gun version, the marine version, or the sword wielding version. Both of them are really, really cool. So just pick the one you like, and hopefully you don't have to uh, get cornered into getting an extra one like I did. So that's it for today. Happy Liberation Day to all our Chamorro friends, to Kitten, to her family, and we'll be back again tomorrow for some Fitness Friday.